Corbin here and Jack Gannett. All the lights are currently lit here on track, and it is go, go, go! Donoso with a crafty maneuver up the inside. Masterclass from the Chilean.
Crucial championship points on offer here.
Do not count out Danny Berezne.
Longe has done the job. This is for the win between these two.
Freddie Rasmussen wins the United States Grand Prix.
Alfie Butcher wins for the first time ever. Lucas Blakely takes the championship. It's Barry Foreman.
Jarno Opmeer is your champion.
Good evening everyone and welcome back to PSGL. It is season 38 and it is round 3. Unfortunately we seem to have lost all his cams though. So a bit of an, don't know what to call that. We had his camera up and running a second go as the software stopped working. Not entirely sure. Nevertheless, we are about to get ourselves going trackside and get ourselves underway for qualifying at the mighty and the fan favourite and much loved Spa-Francorchamps. Absolutely love this track. 7 kilometers long, 4.352 miles and 19 turns with 3 DRS points and 2 detection zones. So as you come around the final couple turns, you get that double doors setting you up for that camel straight. But sometimes you want to be the car leading being behind the cars as you get up the hill to the camel straight. It's what really sets you off on a banger of a what could be double overtake, if not triple overtake, as you get into Le Combs. But don't let us keep you waiting any longer. I'm going to have a little quick look to see what's going on with Omi, but qualifying has begun. Omi, you with us? Yeah, currently on board with Tomas Lamanen, but will not be the driver to start us off in terms of banker laps. It will be Giovanni Kennis. Of course, this is my first time here in the F3 comms booth. So some drivers I do recognise. I've seen a couple names in here before, but some drivers are new to me, and this TF10 driver being one of them, as he's rocking the Kickstarter Comers coming through Stavelor now, trying to generate that precious tyre temperature. This is the longest circuit on the calendar. No room for mistakes, no margin for error. You cannot afford to lose that time. So everybody on the track, they're going to set their first lot of flying laps. A couple of drivers retiring out, so potential maybe qualifying ban, so I'm not too sure, but it's just a educated guess. But nevertheless, we stay on board with Giovanni Kennis now as he comes powering down the pit straight, gets himself ready to attack La Source before he gets the power down flat to the floor, firing all the way up through Eau Rouge and Radion. So La Source looking squared away, not too tight on the apex to the inside line, but now it's flat to the floor. Deploy a bit of the battery just to get that extra speed as you get yourself up to the hill. and you know you get yourself that mighty DRS aided Kemmel straight, 1 kilometre long, just going in a straight line all the way down, in prime position for overtaking. Of course, being a full purple, as you saw there, will be the time to beat. The first driver to set a time lap during this qualifying session. He looks fairly squared away though, coming into the second sector as he drops it down now into Brussels and comes up to the newly named Jackie X. It was no name at one point, so now it has a name. Jackie X turn. Oh, I've just seen what's wrong. We're not actually getting your audio, I don't think. I think something's gone a little bit wrong there. Try now. Yes, we are.
Good.
We are getting the audio.
Fantastic stuff. As Giovanni Kennis continues attacking around this circuit, heading to Pune. But yeah, just what I was just saying, if you haven't joined us earlier this season so far, and you're just joining us now, Giovanni Kennis, the driver who raced in PSF1 last season, coming from the PlayStation side, moving to PCF3 with us, and right now, the fastest time, but it's the only time, as Larry Chilkey now goes into second position. Molnar moves up to first, Linus Donovan up to second place, and now we look at Elekes, who was about to come over the line. Justin Ayertz, the F4 champion from last season, goes up to fifth. Sixth is Marcel Biego to third. Zach Miles goes to fourth.
Yeah, nice laps coming in. Everybody getting into that early 40s. You see, the field only separated by a couple tenths all the way down to P8. It's just 4 tenths to pole. But Gabriel Quintino leading that top spot. We were just on board with GP7 there, who could just not get a good enough time to get into that top 10. That's the points paying positions. Nevertheless, we do have, I think that's Tom 97 coming around bus stop chicane now. It is indeed. Is this going to be a pole setting time? Is it going to be quick enough? It's not. It's a 41. So the time to beat being a 40.6. This track, 7 kilometres long. Lap times are long. We shall only see around 22 laps of racing in the Grand Prix. Just shows you the sheer length of the circuit. Some tracks you see up to excess of 36 laps in a standard 50% of Grand Prix. So it's nice to see such a long circuit. Again, no margin for error, no room for mistake.
Yep, there absolutely isn't room for any of that. And Tom 97, the driver, did a few rounds at the back end of last season in F3, returns for a full season this time around as well in the Red Bull. But the man who's taken the last 2 poles by nearly 3 tenths in round 1 in Australia, by thousands in race 2, now trying to chase pole position as well again, Gabriel Quintino. So he is a driver to watch when it comes to qualifying, a rapid driver when it comes to one lap. Marcel Biega in 4th right now as it stands. Thomas Laminen, who we saw out there earlier on the circuit, he must have invalidated because it was a trip back to the pit lane for the McLaren man, and he's going to be heading back out now for an outlap.
Is indeed. Just keeping my eye on him there, but ultimately I think it's going to be Sammy Simeone to be one of the first drivers to come around again. I think that's the Kick Sauber just leading out. We'll take a little nosy. There it is. You see the Alpine behind, that's got to be Leonardo. So a couple drivers invalidating, not getting the perfect laps, the lap that they wanted to get on the board, or maybe just boxing because they weren't happy with that lap. So would rather try and save those tyres in case they need to do another lap on them, rather than set the lap indeed and have to go around again. We're now on board with Sammy Simeone. What can they do as we come down into the bus stop chicane? Will it be an improvement on time? Will it be a new pole time? We'll soon find out. The power is down, flat to the floor, and away we go. Crosses the line to start that timed lap. On the brakes, try and get that rotation nice and tight, and power back on the exit of the apex. Don't run it too wide. You see there's a sausage on the exit of La Source, and you want to stay very clear of that. He unsettles the car and sends you absolutely flying, but now flat to the floor, trying to minimise the steering input that you need up Eau Rouge and Raidillon. You need to try and keep the car wheel as straight as possible, reduce that aerodynamic load and gain that top speed. The DRS aided now down the Kemmel Straight. Drivers moving out of the way, although the collisions are turned off to avoid that nasty slipstream. The drivers can be a distraction on your qualifying laps. Coming down into Brussels now. Is it the improvement needed coming into Sector 2? Will Sammy Simeone get up there within a striking chance of pole position? Looking very squared away as we come down towards Pujon now. The double right-hander, left-hander even, all the way around. Keep it flat to the floor if you've got the minerals. If you can take it and fire it back through campus now.
Absolutely, that is definitely the goal for Sammy Simeone, a driver who has been late on the brakes so far this season. He's known for being incredibly late on the brakes, and he is having an extraordinary start to life in PC F3, having been promoted at the end of last season, and he finished second in F4, a runner-up to Justin Ayertz, and this season he's definitely performing very, very well as Sammy Simeone as he's making his way through the bus stop chicane, and then it's going to be foot to the floor for the kick Sauber over the line, and we're going to see what he's going to be able to do. P3, great lap.
Oh, that's a beautiful lap. A much needed lap, to say the least. Needed to get that lap time in and get up there within striking distance of the pole sitters. Only just under 2/10 separating from pole. So it's certainly not outside of reach for Sammy. Could certainly set another lap and potentially get in that striking position. Thomas Lamanen, Diego Zorzo, Leonardo and Sasha Neeb yet to set a time, but everybody else except Sasha Neeb has gone back into the pits. Just under 9 minutes to go qualifying. Still a lot of time to set a lap, but they ultimately cannot get the lap time needed. Just not happy with those laps, potential invalidations. Sasha Neeb up into a P13, a 141.152. So some drivers struggling to break that 40 mark, but you do see 9 drivers doing that with a bit of ease.
You absolutely do indeed, as Sasha Neeb, the F5 champion as well, jumping the F4 tier, moving straight up to F3 with us, and Sasha Neeb will be looking to put in some amazing performances. Gabriel Quintino, as I mentioned, pole in race 1 and in race 2. Now, wants to get pole again. A bonus point goes with the pole position, but of course wants to take race victory as well, and that is going to be so critical for the championship standings as well. Every point does matter in a PSGL championship, and Gabriel Quintino has got DRS open as he heads to the Lacombe chicane, and he's up by 3 thousandths of a second, but every little improvement, every little marginal improvement will be critical for every single driver in the field, as Quintino, Molnar, Simeone, Donovan and Biega currently as it stands, but it's all still going to change as drivers find improvements. It's a long circuit, as you mentioned, Corey, meaning there is more improvement to be found from the drivers in the field, as Molnar shows right there as he goes to the front of the field.
Larry Tulke getting up onto that second row there, 40.7. Everybody looking to gain every thousandth, every tenth matters. It's what it's all about, the fine margins. You saw Gabriel Quintino just 3 thousandths up, coming through the first sector. It's not enough to retake that pole position as of yet, although we are still on board. Just under a 10th improvement coming for Gabriel Quintino. It still may not be enough as of yet. Still needs to find just a couple more hundredths to potentially jump ahead of his current rival, Andre Molnar. Certainly setting the time to beat out there. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be close. We're coming through the bus stop chicane. Can Gabriel Quintino retake that pole position and assert dominance here? Powers towards the line. It's not. It's just shy. Oh, only improved by 33 thousandths of a second in that one. Not the improvement that we're looking for. They were almost a 10th up coming down into the bus stop chicane. So not getting the exit there. Maybe just a bit shy on the power to finish the lap. It's unfortunate, but still 6 minutes to go. Plenty of time to get one more in.
Absolutely. Plenty of time to get one more in, indeed. And that is definitely what we are going to see Quintino aiming for. Molnar, a pole sitter from last season as well in PC F2. Just did not have good results when it came to the races, which is exactly why, unfortunately, he found himself demoted. But he will find himself trying to fight, trying to come back and get himself back into F2 for next season as well. And if you perform really, really well in this campaign, the early part of it, you could even find yourself with a mid-season promotion. We saw that last season with Ben Marples and then also Angelo as well, who we also saw in PCF1 yesterday. So it does show that if you do get it right here, what rewards the drivers can find themselves with as well, and they can find themselves moving up tiers and getting plenty of opportunities.
That just showcases the talent of some of these drivers being able to get running in multiple tiers, like you say, running in tier 1 yesterday. So certainly has the pace to drive against some of the best. And now pressing on to take what could be an interesting finish towards this Belgium Grand Prix. Some drivers quick, some drivers just shy of the pace. Almost a second separating P1 to P15. But certainly some drivers could jump up the field. Do not count out anybody just yet. But the times are getting very close. You see, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers. 4 drivers all in a 40.7. Diego Zorzo, 40.5. Wow, what a lap there. There goes Leonardo to getting the 41.1. So still 6 tenths shy of the pace.
Yeah, absolutely. Diego Zorzo, the driver that currently finds himself second in the championship as well, finished 6th in round 1 and then was the winner last time. Out to Diego Zorzo, really having a brilliant start to the season, really turning it around from last season as well, we have to say, when he was in F4. Finished 14th into F3, has made the best of the opportunity and has been fighting at the front, and is only 1 point away from the championship lead. Of course, we'll run through more of the standings after this qualifying during that lobby restart break that we're going to have, as well as we take a look at Linus Donovan as he applies the power and gets his foot to the floor as he's about to make his way through Aruj and Radion.
Absolutely, this could be an improvement, much needed. Only 3 tenths taking you away from pole position. Will you be able to pull those out through these corners? Some corners slow, but some corners absolutely flat to the floor. You need to be on your ball. Currently 5 thousandths up as we get into Le Com. But now it's all through these tight, twisty turns, especially coming down in towards Brussels. It's very easy to lock up the car here as you try and get the rotation round to the right and get yourself back on the power and swing it back through Jackie Hicks round to the left. And now it's flat to the floor all the way down to the lovely, the famous, the much appreciated Pouhon corner. The double left-hander, flat to the floor, swing it round. Here we go. Looking fairly good for Linus Donovan, being able to push the car to the maximum potential of its limit. Will we see the improvement needed? He's about to finish second sector. How far up on the time are they? Almost 2 tenths. So, within that striking distance of pole position, Linus Donovan could be looking for it. Coming down through Blanchamont now. Again, a lot of flat to the floor corners here. 7 kilometers long to navigate through Spa-Francorchamps. It's the longest track on the calendar. But coming through bus stop chicane, flat to the floor. Will we see a new pole time? Just shy, 40.6. Oh, it's only a 10th away. It's a good lap to be held though, lining up just behind the teammate. It's an Aston Martin second row lockout.
It absolutely is right now. Quintino getting the better of his teammate as it stands, but Quintino's going to have his eyes set on the bonus point for pole position as well. And he's currently on an out lap. 2 minutes to go in this session as the drivers start heading out. If you are outside the top 10, you'd probably want to try and get inside the top 10, overtaking the race, while it's a circuit which has plenty of them to outbreak your rivals. Getting stuck in a DRS drain can be pretty difficult for the drivers to make some progress throughout the race, and having to go for those late dive bombs can also be risky, especially near the back of the field, where all drivers at nearly all times in the race are trying to fight themselves up towards the front and an opportunity to contend podium for a win. We've already seen this season, of course, a driver win from outside the top 10 as well, as Larry Chulke managed that in Australia with a perfect time to a virtual safety car, and we can usually get that in a PSGL season for the drivers, so you need to be able to quickly react. We're watching Lewis Walker though as he makes his way up Aruj and Radion as he begins a flying lap.
Yeah, Lewis Walker will be the first to set us off in these final runs in qualifying. This is it now. This is where it matters. The track evolution being at its final stage. The last person to cross the line will benefit from that the most. But the sky's looking a little grey. The temperature could be a little low. So will double 8 laps impress Does Linus Donovan have the potential to go again? Just set a timed lap. Now coming back around the track. I don't think they will. We're still on board with Lewis Walker though. Looking squared away as we come around Jackie X. I don't think it's the improvement that's needed to get on. Doesn't look as fast as some of the earlier laps, but it's flat to the floor. Around Pujon we go. Looking to potentially attack Campus. Does keep on the press, so will continue with the lap and potentially push on for what could be a much needed pole position as Lewis Walker be up there. Could he be up there? Just under a 10th improvement so far. 86 thousandths of a second. It won't be enough for pole, but it may be enough to get up on that second row, depending on what you can find through this third and final sector. Through Blanchimont we go now. The bus stop chicane, a corner that can really, well, a set of corners that can really catch you out. If you're too heavy on the brakes, you lock up the front, lock up the rear, send yourself spinning round. But part of Lewis Walker got it done just enough, but didn't have the best time. Didn't really improve on that lap. Stays exactly where they are in P6.
Molnar comes into the pit lane, leaving Diego Zorzo and Gabriel Quintino going for pole position. As Quintino, it seems like, has invalidated the lap, so it won't be a pole position. It won't be 3 in a row for him. Eyes go to the house driver, Diego Zorzo, and lots of other drivers coming over the line. Race Imtiaz, third. He finished in race 1, second in race 2, so he's a driver who would want to upgrade his position and finish first, and he is going to, as it stands, start in second. Diego Zorzo, though, will try and have something to say about that, as the top 2 in the championship, as it stands, battle over second, possibly first for Diego Zorzo if he can find an extraordinary lap. We're about to see the second sector for him, and he's down, so he's not finding the time that he requires to even get onto the front row right now as it stands for Diego Zorzo, and he'll need a mighty bus stop chicane if that's going to change.
Absolutely, we are still on board with Diego Zorzo, looking to potentially take the pole away, although had a bit of a stinker, not up on the time too much as it would like to be. Can you pull it out? No, goes heading to that pit lane. That is it. Your qualifying is done. Andre Molnar sits on that top spot, 40.522. Reyes Imtiaz, the driver's standing leader, lining up just behind. And Diego Zorzo just falling short. It was a good effort, a good attempt, but in the end, the final runs did not go the way they wanted. They could not get the laps needed to put them on that top spot.
Absolutely. Really interesting qualifying session there, and it definitely leaves us with some exciting race coming our way in a few moments' time after, of course, the lobby restart that will be had for everyone in the field as we turn collisions back on. So that is what, of course, happens after every qualifying session to make sure that we're all set for a brilliant race as well. So they didn't really show the qualifying results for the second week in a row, the game, unfortunately. So we'll move, of course, now to the race lobby. A lobby restart, meaning that we're going to find ourselves just waiting a few more minutes, and then hopefully we'll be able to bring you the action from Spa.
Absolutely, we do apologise for that. For some reason, it did not show the final classifications of the qualifying, so we couldn't really express on what happened, see which driver we expect to see a bit higher up, which driver just fell a little bit low, and of course, to make it easier to set the grid. Nevertheless, now is the time to take a look at the drivers' standings. We couldn't get it in on the intro, I was a bit too focused on the issues. We see Omi's camera not showing up on the collab cam settings. So, let me have a look at that. Apparently, it's give me a new link, so I'm going to get that fired over to you very quickly indeed, and I'm just going to quickly pull up the current standings, so you should see them there in front of you before your very eyes. Interesting to start off with. Reyes Imtiaz 22 points, Diego Zorzo 21 points, Larry Tulke 20 points. 3 drivers, 1 point separation between the top 3. This is where things start to get interesting and spicy in the earlier rounds, when the points are very shallow, where drivers really haven't had that huge leap in points over their current rivals. 22, 21 and 20. Then you have this another 3-way fight just for P4 between Gabriel Quintino, Buba and Marcel Biega 14, 12, and 12. So, two-way fights going on here, but they're certainly not out of the woods to push up for the top spot as of yet. Earlier rounds are very important. The finishes need to be high to set you off for a flying start up on your rivals. Things are getting very interesting. I've not been here for the first two rounds, but Belgium certainly is going to bring some intense action. Don't know about you, Olmi, but I'm excited for this one.
Oh, I absolutely am exciting. I am absolutely excited for this one as well. I did catch up, of course, on the round one as me and Tappy were covering F2 for that round. A brilliant action there. Then, of course, we were commentating last time out in Austin, and we were treated to some fantastic racing all the way from start to finish. So, really looking forward to what of this 12 round calendar is going to be like, and it of course takes place at an extraordinary racetrack as well, and a circuit which has plenty of overtaking opportunities.
Absolutely. It's a famous track. It's got a lot of history, a lot of heritage, especially in Spa-Francorchamps. You know, here comes Sebastian Vettel up the Camel Straight. Will we see this tonight in season 38 of PSGL Belgium in the F3? Some drivers certainly going to try and recreate that. Everybody wants to be the man to pull off fantastic moves and overtakes and really show your racing talent. And I shall be excited to see what is to come up that huge DRS straight. You know, the overspeed you get coming off the Camel Straight with the slipstream, which is what we're about to turn the collisions back on for. You get that tour, you get that slipstream, you can use it as a vital weapon in attack, while your rivals ahead need to use everything they can do in defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to quickly, of course, run you through as well the grid. It was Andre Molnar, of course, who took pole position. Reyes Imtiaz in second. Then it's the two Hasses, Diego Zorzo, Laurie Tulke, Gabriel Quintino ahead of his team at Linus Donovan, then Zach Miles, Lewis Walker, and then GP7 as he makes his debut today. Sammy Simeone in the just completing the top 10. Marcel Biega, Giovanni Kennis, and then we had Elekes, Justin Ayertz in 14th, Thomas Laminin, Tom 97, Sasha Neeb, Leonardo Tornalato, Kuba and Buba both didn't set a lap in qualifying, so they'll be starting at the back. So just running you through the qualifying order, as we weren't, of course, able to show you it earlier on, but that's how the grid will line up. But when we do get to Le Combe, Corey, it can all be completely shuffled and changed to what the grid order was.
Oh, absolutely. That is something I do not doubt for 1 second. Coming up that Camel Straight, you know, starting in second, certainly could be the place to be. You're aided with that slipstream, such a long straight line. The car in front and the car in P1 rarely ever finishes the lap in Spa. Still in P1, P2, P3 at best, because you have all these drivers behind you barreling through turn 1, barreling up Eau Rouge and Radillon. Gained with that slipstream. Some drivers behind a car that's getting slipstream, you can call it a bit of an extra boost if you would. They get more speed. The air is broken behind in front of them, and they just barrel up towards the Le Combe corner. A couple of dive bombs come in, maybe 3 wide moments going into Le Combes off the race start. Certainly could happen here. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. I'm going to say Reyes Imtiaz though, with those good starts to the season, of course, getting on the podium twice already. It's going to be fall for them to play for. They're starting in P2 tonight. So, up on the front row, could attack down into La Source or wait it out for that Camel Straight advantage, and potentially Le Combe is the place to do it.
Yes, absolutely. And another thing as well with Reyes Imtiaz, a driver who promised us after race 1 that he would win in race 2. He managed to, of course, he finished third in race 1. He improved his position to race 2, to second place in race 2. But then, of course, in this round, he's promised us the same thing once again. His goal is to fight for the championship. So he is desperate for that victory. And as you can see, a third and a second. Can he get a step higher and get first here at Spa? That is the question that is going to be answered by the end of this broadcast. But he is a driver that really, really wants to be fighting at the front, really, really wants to be getting those victories as well. So this is going to be quite a lot of fun to see how he is going to be able to get on tonight.
Absolutely, indeed. But on that note, we can take a quick look at the calendar to see what is to come next time. And next week, you should see the return of Sappy, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just filling in for tonight, doing my little duty to keep the show going underway. And it is a pleasure to be here, to say the least, especially with Omi. Omi, it's lovely to commentate with yourself. Very talented young man, rising talent, to say the least. Canada coming up next. And stay tuned for what is to come here in Belgium. Any early predictions? I want to see that in the chat. Anybody that you are rooting for? I saw earlier on Zozo having a bit of a fan base, as well as Gabriel Quintino.
It's lovely to see the support for all of these drivers. Of course, you have people, as we mentioned, coming from the PlayStation side. We have a driver making his debut today from the iRacing side as well, making his move to F124 GP17. So looking forward to seeing how he is going to get onto. Whoever you are rooting for, do let us know. And it's always good to see the support that all of the drivers do get. And soon we're going to be getting underway. So really exciting stuff coming in a few moments' time. The opening lap at Spa is always unmissable.
Oh, absolutely. Lap 1 incidents, we don't want to see them. We want to see hard for racing. But for now, we just wait patiently and silently for these drivers to get themselves lined up, ready to go and get racing. Bring us all the entertainment possible over these next 22 laps, navigating this 7-kilometer long circuit. Can't stress this enough. It is the longest circuit in the calendar. Laps come very quickly, especially when you're in that moment, when you're absolutely locked in and zoned in. 22 laps flies by, to say the least. But now we get ourselves going trackside while the drivers get themselves prepared for a nice long 22 laps of Spa-Francorchamps.
What the 20 in the field are going to be preparing themselves for. They'll be loading up their setups at this stage now, getting their strategies all sorted, getting their fuels all in a fixed position. And then after that, the 5 lights will come on and then they'll go racing for 22 laps. And that is where the pressure is really on. Trying to keep your nose clean on the opening lap is always very critical for the drivers. If you do find yourself on the back foot immediately off the start, then it can really affect your entire race. And in a field where it's so competitive, if you do have any of those moments, recovering is going to be incredibly hard.
Well, it certainly is, but now we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. The lights are lit, the grid is set, and we are go for Belgium here in the F3 at season 38. And everybody's powering down towards the line. Andre Mona having a good start, but certainly could be under attack by Racing Tiaz. There's contact there at the back of the grid. Everybody's spinning round. What has happened there? We have a Mercedes and a Red Bull facing each other. GP7, Tom 97 facing each other at the back of the grid, coming through La Source. Huge contact on the opening lap, but you knew it was going to happen. Larry Tulke on the attacker, Zach Miles. It could be an overtake here. Doesn't backside of it before we get into the comms. Nobody making that dive up on the Kemmel Straight. However, when the DRS is active next lap, they certainly have that extra tool at their disposal to try and make that push on that 1 kilometer long straight. Now coming around Brussels and getting onto Jack Yates. Andre Monar still leading the Grand Prix, starting on pole. Racing Tiaz trying to keep within that nice little gap, that nice little area. Not too close, not too far. You benefit from that slipstream, but also keep the DRS as you come around to finish your lap. Almost finishing Sector 2 now, coming into campus. Nobody else making any late lunges. Very difficult to overtake here through this part of the track.
It absolutely is as well, and they're all waiting for the opportunity that could come in the bus stop chicane for certain drivers trying to gain some places on the opening lap before the DRS does come into play. Looking very close is Laurie Tulke, trying to put the pressure on Zach Miles. So could there be an overtake as we head down to the bus stop chicane then, as we head into the braking zone? Who is feeling brave on the brakes? That's going to be close in the background. Stinking by the move was Gabriel Quintino, currently in 8th, and he was trying to get past Sammy Simeone. All 20 drivers on those hard compound of tyres and looking to move to the set of mediums later on in the race. So that will be the strategy, unless we do see any interruptions, which it can change up the race. But Tulke's going to get another chance to get past Zach Miles, as GP7 has retired on debut. Disappointment for him.
Yeah, that's not too good for the Shazoo driver. GP7 having a bit of a stinker there. Not happy with that lap 1 altercation into La Source, into turn 1. It's a lap 1, turn 1 incident to say the least. Larry Toolkit with a late send there, lines up behind his Haas teammate. Gets him past Zach Miles with ease with that DRS on the Campbell Straight. Like I said, the overspeed you can get from that is massive, is monumental. Reyes Imtiaz still just sitting behind Andre Molnar. He's in a good position, he's happy where they are, not potentially pushing on for a race lead as of yet, but could certainly feel the pressure from the Haas boys lurking behind.
Absolutely could. Indeed, because the Hasses are both going on the attack. Sometimes in PSGL, it can be pass or be pass stuff for the drivers in this field. You might need to go on the attack, and sometimes you don't have a choice, or you're going to be passed by about 2 cars that are using their ERS. That's how it goes. Usually, it's always ultra competitive. But yeah, incredibly disappointing for GP7, who said this was his favorite circuit coming into this round, really wanting to race, having not got a chance to prove himself earlier this season. A seat opened up and he was able to get it, but unfortunately it's a retirement at the end of lap 1 for him. As we make our way through, that is super close. Once again, Simeone and Gabriel Quintino battling to the bus stop chicane, and Simeone stays ahead. Quintino, though, is wanting to get to the inside. He is going to get the inside line on the run down to La Source. Can Quintino take the place?
Oh, there's contact!
And round. Gabriel Quintino makes contact with Simeone, and he's round at La Source.
Absolutely all the way around in La Source. Gets himself going again. But now as we get up to the hill, up to the top of Radion, it's Diego Zorzo looking very, very close to attack Reyes Imtiaz. This is the moment we were talking about, pass or be passed. Although they stay just tucked away behind each other, waiting for the opportune moment, waiting for that perfect open door. It's unfortunate for Gabriel Quintino getting spun around, sent to the back of the grid. Just outside of that now, it's going to be very difficult for them to get close again. The DRS train from P7 all the way down to P16. And then you see the break there. You see it's got a little gap from Andrea Monata's Linus Donovan. Then Sammy Simeone all the way down to Bullback. Gabriel Quintino 5 seconds off that train now.
Absolutely the case. So everyone's still in order on lap number 3 as well, but that's exactly what we were mentioning earlier on. Gabriel Quintino, absolutely fantastic when it comes to 1 lap pace. Pole positions in the first 2 rounds, a bit more lower down today, but things have gone wrong in the races for him, and that is where the majority of the points are, of course, scored. You do get a bonus point for pole, but now he's going to find himself on a recovery drive. Here we go then, down to the bus stop chicane once again this time.
Also send from Zach Miles.
There is absolutely indeed a send. Zach Miles trying to find a way through and spoil the Haas party right now in 3rd and 4th, and Donovan's going to try and get involved as well.
Yeah, Linus Donovan certainly capitalising from these slow-moving cars. Is he going to get through? Get both? Oh, he went for it. Tried to get the traction down there. That could have been a perfect move for Linus Donovan. Just couldn't get on the power. You see Zach Miles and Larry Toolkit all fighting away. Both of them mono a mono, side by side. Here comes Linus Donovan. He's going to send it on 1. He sends it on 2, getting that optimum line. The Ferrari and Haas drivers put themselves in a bit of an unfortunate position where they were not getting the benefit of Eau Rouge and Radion keeping the car as straight as possible. That's where Linus Donovan picks up both positions, jumps up to P4, slots in between that Haas party. Now presses on to take Diego Zorzo as well, but can he get close enough?
Absolutely. Tulki Miles focused on each other, using the ERS, deploying it, and getting through on the pair was Linus Donovan, and he is going to now find himself looking to put the pressure on the top 3. We take a look at the top 3. There's not been much changing between these drivers. They just find themselves following each other at this stage in the pit stop, before the pit stop phase. You don't want to use all of the battery. You do not want to waste any of that. You want to save it for those critical moments. And right now you can see Lewis Walker on the back of Zach Miles, so he's going to get an opportunity now to try and make a move. He'll pull alongside as we head down towards Blanchimoni. We'll get close at high speed between the Ferrari and the Mercedes, and it's going to be Walker who backs out of it, and Zach Miles stays ahead.
Yeah, the Mercedes driver just not managing to get the speed needed to make that overtake easy coming out of Blanchimont. Coming into bus stop chicane now, backed out of it. Didn't want to risk the contact, didn't want to risk any unnecessary, unneeded damage or potential position losses. But coming up through La Source now, lap 5, only 5 on to lap 5 should I say. Waiting for that door to open, for the opportune moment. The driver's struggling to overtake here in a track that's known for its high speeds. Some corners, some drivers have just that extra little bit of knowledge around them. You see the Alpine driver Leonardo going, making it side by side with Sammy Simeone. It's easily done with the DRS. Straight through he goes, making it up into that points position, getting an extra point under the belt.
He absolutely is at this stage of the contest as well. So fantastic stuff from Leonardo Tornolato, as we now see Andre Molnar trying to defend, and Andre Molnar is going to find himself with Lewis Walker trying to get through, and Molnar is really losing out here.
Had a huge moment there, did the Alpine driver. Got old squirrely, losing it, dropping behind his teammate. Your pole sitter is all the way down into P8. He's had an absolute disaster moment. Reyes Imtiaz now leading, will lead on and hopefully win this race. Could it be the win? A P3, a P2 and then a P1 in 3 races, taking all podium positions in the first 3 rounds of a season. Unheard of. Looked like lag. Something certainly happened. Andre Mona has been pushed all the way down to P8. Something certainly happened. He obviously has the better perspective than we do. Maxi says he lagged back. Yeah, it's unfortunate though. Reyes Imtiaz now leading and will lead on unless Diego Zorzo has anything to say about this one. Potentially even Linus Donovan to get into the mix. Been a bit aggressive early on. Also smart racing from Linus Donovan to get himself up into the position he is now. That double overtake was beautifully done.
It was beautifully done indeed. Now we're getting the slipstream, and you can see Donovan gaining. This is going to get really close, and going for the move. Zorzo into the lead of the race, and Donovan trying to go the long way around off Lecombe. Reyes Imtiaz is going to hold on to second place, and that was the first real time so far. We've seen a huge ball towards Lecombe with our leaders, and Zorzo gets into the lead, and it was lots of drivers also in behind, waiting for the opportunity to try also get involved. Donovan has to sit in behind, but can I just say, Leonardo Tornolato, 18th, he started this race, finds himself in 8th, so he is having some race so far, and he's already recovered so many places.
Absolutely, Leonardo Tornolato is doing very, very well to get himself up into a points finishing position, qualifying down basically at the bottom of the grid there. Doing very well to get into the points, 10 position gain so far, and now just falling behind his teammate. Can we see the teammates work together, or will we see the drivers fighting out like the McLaren boys do in real life? We're still on board with the front runners. Lewis getting a little bit closer to the back of Larry Tilke. Tilke also getting very, very close to Linus Donovan. Lewis makes a little look to the right side mirror there of Larry Tilke, but stays behind ultimately. Rear wings are open once again down the pit straight. Nobody close enough to make any moves into La Source. We're going on to lap 7 now. Still 15 laps to go.
Still a long way to go in this one. Still a long way in terms of how this race is going to play out. We still have these pit stop phase to come, so hopefully Molnar is going to get an opportunity to recover during that phase some of the places that he has lost, but right now he wants to do it on the circuit. As we see another battle, Reyes Imtiaz trying to go the long way around. Can he do it into Lecombe? He is going to be able to do it. It'll be closer though in the battle between Molnar and Zach Miles. That is extraordinarily brave, and getting to the apex first and taking P6 is Molnar.
Wow, that was beautiful racing there. Very hard fur racing. They got very, very close. So close. Almost interlocking wheels between the Alpine and Ferrari drivers. Andre Mona, Zach Miles' race could have been ended there and then coming through Lecombes. But it just showcases the talent of these drivers being able to race that close and not to make contact. Hard racing from Mona. There's changes going on. Lewis Walker's attacking for the podium position here. He's managed to get past Larry Tilke. He's also managed to put the pressure on towards Linus Donovan. Could a podium be in sight for Lewis Walker?
That battling between these drivers in the battle for P3 got really close towards Pearl. They were literally practically banging wheels as well earlier on in the lap. So it's really getting feisty between these few drivers. They've got to be careful though. They've got to make sure and think about the long term in this race. They need to stay inside the 1 second of the leaders, so they cannot afford to be wheel banging towards a corner like Pearl where they're going to lose a lot of time. It's already got up to 7 cents. They're now getting it closer, of course, with the DRS as they now make their way down to La Source on lap number 8 of this race. Slightly wide for Walker. Larry Tulke is going to try and make the move. And meanwhile, we're probably going to get another switch for the lead as Diego Zorzo 2 tenths away as we head to Rouge.
Absolutely, now getting himself up onto the Kemmel straight. That rear wing will be whacked wide open, gaining that extra speed. There's the change for the lead. But what I've got to say is Andre Molnar, although had that huge lag spike, is straight back in this fight for victory. The pole sitter in the fight for the lead. Just sat there at the back of this little train, but do not count them out just yet. Certainly showcasing the speed that they've got coming down into Brussels turn there. But for now, Diego Zorzo finally in the lead of the race. Qualified P3. We see the Zorzo fans in the chat. Reyes Imtiaz qualifying P2. Just losing out now to the Haas driver, but it's all controlled. Very, very satisfied. He does not seem to be under too much pressure. Wasn't defending it too hard either. Letting the driver go ahead. There's still 14 laps to go in this race. This is not where it happens. It happens in the final closing laps. That's when the pressure's on. That's when you try and keep them behind you. That's where you fight. For now, you just sort of exchange DRS, swap it round one after the other. I wonder when the pit stop strategy will come into play. Potentially 12 laps? Do you think they could go there 12 laps, 13 laps, and then they swap to the medium compound tyre?
It'll definitely be interesting to see, and they'll definitely need to, of course, be on the conservative side with that, of course, as they come over the line once more to begin another lap, onto lap number 9 in this race. And as you mentioned, we see a lots of finishes here in PSGL go down to that bus stop chicane, which is the last 2 corners on this circuit. So we can get races that literally go all the way to the line. Even sometimes it can be side by side to the line depending on how close it is, because neither driver wants to give it up, especially at that stage of the race. Here we go though with the slipstream. We're going to see another change, and this time around possibly trying to go the long way around. We've got the Ferrari through. Can the Aston Martin go through and go the long way around? But it might have opened the door for Lewis Walker, who's been on the attack for so long in this race, but right now he has to back out of that one. And Lewis Walker now finds himself darting all over the road with Molnar trying to go on the attack. And here comes Larry Tulke trying to turn the outside back to the inside line for the next corner. He won't be able to do it, and somehow after all of that we are still in the same order, with Reyes Imtiaz moving up to the lead, Diego Zorzo in second, and everyone else just waiting for their opportunity in behind.
Oh, that could have been mighty spicy. Coming into second sector there, some potential moves being played out, but again, we're still in the exact same order. How an overtake was not happening there, I do not know. The door was open for Lewis Walker. Tried to make it stick, tried to make it work with Linus Donovan on the ball. Focused, calm and collected, managing to defend that position. But is this Andre Molnar now? Side by side with Larry Tulke. It is. Trying to press on. Could we see him 3 wide? Larry Tulke's forced to put the pressure on against Lewis Walker. Lewis Walker's trying to defend. Andre Molnar potentially looking to pick up the pieces. And once again, we have not changed positions unless Larry Tulke can make this one work. Side by side, going down into La Source, later on the brakes. No, they're still side by side on the entry. The Mercedes driver, Lewis Walker, still trying to defend it. Will we see them back to the same order? Yes, we will. Nobody gaining positions as of yet. They're just fighting for them. A good old scrap, but you've not gained anything just yet.
The top 2 though, they have been switching positions all the way through. Well, let's see, are we going to switch any places further back? It's going to get really close. Here we go, 3 wide for the lead momentarily, and trying to go through on the pair was Dennis Donovan, and it's forced Diego Zorzo out wide, who took the lead. He was slightly wide into the apex, and Linus Donovan now up to second place. Reyes Imtiaz down to third, then it's Walker, then it's Molnar ahead of Larry Tulke. And it definitely once again is it's getting really feisty now with the whole field really close together. Every time that we head to Lecom, there is multiple drivers getting in the mix, so we are seeing much more overtaking than the opening few laps of this race, and this is where it's really getting pretty feisty between these drivers, and sometimes even if you might not want to overtake, you have to. Pass or be part stuff continues here for PSGL PCF3 in Spa.
Of course, I'm still putting all my money on Reyes Imtiaz. I reckon they can pull the win out of the bag with Andre Molnar doing very, very well to stay within that fight, to stay within that striking chance of victory here. Could be champion contender in the mix. Only sat on 8 points currently in the standings. A win would put them up to 24. Oh no, it wouldn't be. It would be 28. Ooh. I don't know, it would be 24. 24 points with a win. I was looking at the wrong scorecard. But we see Andre Molnar's making a huge leap up into P4 though. Trying to get past them all, but does not. Falls back down. Still trying to go side by side the long way round in La Source. Can he make it on Lewis Walker? Lewis Walker forced into a defensive manoeuvre. Raise Imtiaz up down into P3 still. Cannot capitalise and gain any. It's Andre Molnar trying to make it side by side into Eau Rouge. And does so. But he's now only got one person leading ahead. Can he get Raise Imtiaz? Really oh, there's a send there from Zach Miles. Huge dive from that Ferrari driver against Larry Tolke. My.
They're really being late on the brakes. They were side by side through Blanchimon as well as Reyes Imtiaz tried to get past Linus Donovan. So you can see how Reyes Imtiaz immediately wants to fight his way up to second position. He wanted to risk it, and the gap went up to 7/10 and nearly promoted Molnar up to second place as well while they were battling through that part of the lap. And we're migrating host, so I think possibly a little issue for Marcel Biega. I think we're migrating host again, so it might be a server issue possibly.
Oh, Marcel's gone. No, the host is... He's out. He's out. Hopefully the host can get themselves back in. Marcel Biega disconnecting the... May see an issue getting back in here. The disconnects can certainly cause some issues, not letting you retake control of your car. But here comes Reyes Imtiaz, trying to send out Linus Donovan, trying to retake that P2 position, qualified P2, trying to fight for it back. We see drivers going into the pits there. Lewis Walker, Larry Tolke, both going into the pits, opting to swap to the medium compounded tyre now, potentially 10 laps. That's quite a margin to go, but 12, maybe 13 is the one for these drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Mossberger has been able to get backs as well. So not a lobby issue, just possibly a disconnection from his side. Molnar now making the move for P3. Meanwhile, Linus Donovan wants to be a race leader as well in this, and he's moving up to P1. Another move going on. Sammy Simeone just getting ahead of Zach Miles, and we're really starting to see the field from this battle separate slightly as we see a few moves go on in a couple of meters for first and for third, and then also for fifth position. So really fascinating stage of the race as we get closer and closer to the pit stop phase.
See, that's the point where your tyres are starting to wear out, and this is the part of the race where you see which driver has been able to manage their tyres more effectively, who's got the better grip, who can get the better exits, who can get the power down better than the drivers behind, and this is where the gaps start to open up. But we've seen it before, and we shall certainly see it again when the drivers come in. And you see those second gaps, you see everybody separated. When everybody starts fighting away once again, those gaps certainly do close up towards the end of a race.
Yep, we absolutely do see them start to really close in at points in the race. And we're watching Giovanni Kennis, who, as we see into the pit lane, comes Linus Donovan and Zorzo, and multiple cars behind will also be coming into the pit lane, meaning that we're going to get a different order. So the two Ferraris continue on out in front. Dennis Tornalato just ahead of Giovanni Kennis and Sasha Neeb. They are the three cars that are battling over third position as it stands now, after seeing multiple cars into the pit lane.
Yeah, we do see at least half of the grid there coming in to swap for those medium compounded tyre. Justin Ertz goes quickest so far on those medium compounded tyre, being the little guinea pig, was one of the first to box in, it seems. gone fastest. Let's have a quick look at the tyre graphic. You can see who's on what. You see 2-lap hold for Justin Hurts, one of the first drivers to box on those mediums. So still quite a distance to go on them for him. It'll be 11 laps completed at the end of the race, but it's certainly doable. Still, you see Reyes Imtiaz leading away, not pitting as of yet. His teammate Zach Miles almost 2 seconds behind. Will they choose to box this lap? The undercut could be mighty powerful, and that's what their rivals have tried to go for. Reyes Imtiaz, I'm still counting on you to win this race. I think it's to be done. I would like to see that in the standings. I would like to see a 3, 2 and a 1 in the standings overall for race finishes. I think that'd be quite satisfying.
Indeed, and satisfying for what he also mentioned to us in the interview last week, that he would come to Spa, that he would win, and that is what he says in every interview. Looking ahead to the next race, that it is going to be the victory. He wants the championship this season, as I talked you through earlier as well, and Reyes Imtiaz driving is matching right now to make that dream into reality for the Ferrari man. As he comes into the pit lane now, will be followed in with Giovanni Kenny. Zach Miles goes round once again the other Ferrari car, but everyone else coming into the pit lane as they get ready to change onto the medium compound tyres, and then it's about to get really interesting to where they filter out in what will be a very chaotic scrap. As you can see, cars all over the road in this battle, and that is going to be Larry Tulke losing out, and he is going side by side down towards the first corner with Walker also trying to find a way through. Can Walker get there? As we now get the Ferrari Reyes Imtiaz rejoining the road. It is it's Donovan, then Zorzo, then Molnar, the top 3 right now in this train, as Walker is under serious pressure as he tries to put the pressure on Molnar, and also under serious pressure from Larry Tulke as well.
Here goes Lewis Walker and Andre Molnar, goes side by side there, does get ahead before we even finish the Kemmel Straight. So that's a move done and dusted for Lewis Walker, still within this fight, looking to set sights on Diego Zorzo. At the minute, Linus Donovan, net P1, Zach Miles yet to box, Gabriel Quintino yet to box. Those 2 drivers staying out for a little bit longer. Well, now Reyes Imtiaz has got those fresh medium compounded tyre and filtered out at the back of this train, sat down there in P10, but still could be within a good chance of fighting back, getting back through this field. It's certainly going to be a fight. All the drivers ahead have boxed, so it's all for the talent now. Reyes Imtiaz to try and fight back through the field. Nobody else is going to make it easy. Linus Donovan, good strategy there, beautiful strategy there. He's currently leading in net P1.
Justin Ayat also took a very early undercut, more than the usual approach that all the other drivers took. So he pitted a lap before, where we saw most of the grid come into the pit lane. So that was very interesting to see. As here we go, we see Walker trying to go on the attack, but Justin Ayat taking the gain right now, with gaining a few places, might be losing out near the final stages. But right now, Justin Ayat, I should say, finds himself battling in this train, and the driver actually battling on this circuit quite a bit right now. As you mentioned, is Lewis Walker trying to defend, trying to attack. I think it's about to continue when we head down to Le Com once again on this 1 kilometer run with DRS.
Absolutely, you see Linus Donovan going a little bit defensive there, just swung a little bit wider than he wanted to be, because of course Zorzo's going to make it through. The spin on the grass, banging wheels are barely keeping themselves collected. This push back onto the train. They were 3 wide on the exit into Le Combs, 3 wide on the exit of Le Combs. Lewis Walker almost getting into an unfortunate situation. Linus Donovan contacting with Diego Zorzo. Zorzo's through. Andre Molnar lurking behind Lewis, trying to make the most of it. But Larry Tulke has picked up 3 seconds, so that's not good for them. They're not going to finish within this striking distance. They're going to drop down, potentially down to P12, if not 13. That's quite a margin to gain. Everybody's very, very close together, coming through Sector 2 now. Diego Zorzo's just breached a bit of breathing space, but it's not going to be enough as we get through Stavelot and get our eyes set on Blanchimont. Top speed is a must here, but he's half a second clear. Don't think Diego Zorzo's going to be under too much threat into bus stop chicane unless Linus Donovan burns that battery. Pass or be passed. We said it before, we'll say it again. Is he looking for an open door? No, he is not, but Andre Molnar certainly is on Lewis Walker though.
They absolutely are indeed. over the line we go once again. Cars still all over the road, and it's pretty much going to, it could be a repeat of the last lap. This time around though, Andrew Molnar gets shuffled wide. A bit of a tap from Larry Chulki, who was in turn getting a bit of a tap from Sammy Simeone. They all got very close under braking, and now we're going to get the DRS, but it's all about who uses that ERS. Who does this? Who does decide to deploy it? Larry Chulki could be trying to make a move on Molnar. Molnar's going to be aiming in front as well. Here we go then. First of all with the Aston Martin. So we've got Donovan trying to make the move. You've got the Mercedes of Walker trying to get involved. And meanwhile, you've got the Ferrari of Ray's Imtiaz trying to defend from Justin Ayrton. The Williams is trying to go through. And it's going to be Zorzo ahead of Walker. Then Donovan. Molnar trying to find a way through as we go down the hill. Sammy Simeone side by side with Ray's Imtiaz trying to go the long way around. Ray's Imtiaz gets shuffled onto the curb and he can't get ahead of the kick Sauber.
Very, very hard, aggressive fighting here in Spa-Francorchamps. 6 laps to go, and these drivers are holding nothing back, trying to get these positions done and dusted, trying to get themselves into the perfect prime position for that end game. This is where it matters now. You need to try and implement your strategy, get yourself into a position where you know you are going to finish one up in your rival. The tyres could last, but the way you've been fighting, the way you've all been going at each other, you're going to be in unfortunate positions in the final closing laps, penultimate lap, maybe even the final lap. This is where it gets interesting. Open lobbies, says somebody in the chat. The fighting has been very, very aggressive, that's to say the least. F3 is holding nothing back. Diego Zorzo could be on for first win of the season. They're almost catching up to Gabriel Quintino, though. I think Gabriel is trying to hold out for the you-know-what.
Yeah, absolutely. And there possibly could have been, I don't know if it was just me, but there was something I saw flick on the screen. So there could have been a bit of debris at the bus stop chicane that left one of those cars, and there was multiple cars making their way through down to the bus stop chicane, all closing on each other. Talking about closing in, here is Linus Donovan closing in on Walker. They're both getting closer to second place. Zorzo, and it's going to be the Mercedes pulling to the outside line. Boxed in is Donovan, and can Lewis Walker get there? Can he keep his foot in? And is he going to be able to stay committed? Zorzo's going to be able to maintain the position ahead of Lewis Walker, who is one of our reserve drivers. Now Molnar trying to get in the mix, and he is really trying to recover in this race, but he still finds himself in 5th, net 4th place.
Yeah, they're not holding anything back here and now. They're trying to make these moves early while they still have those tyres in a good position, because come 2 laps time, it's going to be absolutely dangerous to try and make these overtakes. When you've burnt away that vital rubber, Sammy Simeone looking for a sender, side by side coming through campus. Is it done and dusted for Simeone? Yes, it is, but Reyes Imtiaz goes through, so does Justin Hurts. Larry Tolke dropping out 3 positions there, dropping down into P9. Those 3 seconds, though, could be seen in the steward's room and removed potentially, but we do not know that as of yet. Will, for now, drop 3 seconds behind off the grid. Could see them dropping all the way down to P17 with how close these drivers are.
Yeah, really close indeed, and you've got battles all the way through. Sasha Neeb's got past Booba as well, but there is so much action in this field where we don't know where to look, and it's always getting wild lap on lap, and that increases as well. That increases with every lap that goes on in this race as we make our way more towards the final stages. Now, you're going to have Zorzo trying to make the move on Quintino, who is not going to have the pace of these drivers that are behind at this stage, and he's going to find himself now being passed in a few moments time by the Haas. There he goes, purling alongside and taking the place into the braking zone. Everyone else has to try and get past Gabriel Quintino now, and they have to do it in the challenging middle part of the lap, or they could find themselves stuck behind, and that could allow Diego Zorzo to pull away.
Yeah, this is absolutely beautiful for Diego Zorzo. He's on the fresh medium compound tyre, has that grip advantage over Quintino. Quintino now is in a position where the drivers behind are not going to be able to overtake as easy until we get to potentially Blanchimont. So coming through Pujon, coming down into Campus and Stavalo, unless it's going to be a set. There it is around the outside. Just coming into Campus, Lewis Walker gets through, and he's almost outside of the DRS. You can just see the grip advantage that Zorzo has had over Quintino. Quintino on the hard compound tyre, yet to box 18 lap holds. Hopefully does not hold his teammate up. Linus Donovan does not. There they go, letting him go. He knows that he can't fight it too much, but it's potentially over for Quintino. unless a safety car comes out now, certainly going to have to box to get some fresh boots on and go to the end. 4 laps remaining as we get towards the line now. Zozo leads the race and could potentially be in prime position for victory. Almost pushed Lewis Walker out of the DRS, but Lewis Walker still within that striking distance.
Momentarily yellow flags out. That was something that happened further on behind as well. Possibly could have included Zach Miles, who we saw battling in this battle in the first stage as well. But it was crucial that Lewis Walker was able to be brave and go the long way around, because that's kept him inside 1 second. And now we're going to surely see Sammy Simeone trying to make the move, but he's side by side with Ray's Imtiaz. As he does so, it is going to get close between these two drivers.
Ooh.
And a bit of a tag given to Quintino by Sammy Simeone. The Simeone being a bit too late on the brakes there as he was battling with Ray's Imtiaz. And once again, they're going to continue to go side by side. Can the Kick Sauber get to the apex first? And once again, we've got a car boxed in this battle. And the virtual safety car is deployed. So we've got the virtual safety car route as Sasha Neeb is out of the race.
Oh, Sasha Neeb on the exit of Lecom seems to be collected in the wall. We do have a virtual safety car. The race is neutralized. For the time being, this is bad. Quintino now needs to box.
Sorry, is there a full safety car on the map?
Oh, it is! That's full course safety car. The safety car has been deployed. Oh, Quintino! Quintino with the strategy of a lifetime. If we see everybody box now for soft compound tyres, this could work into Gabriel Quintino's favour. But
It could.
It's only... Wait, how is this going to work? We're going to literally see the safety car go around for like half a lap.
Yep, absolutely. Well, in that we are going to get going, so it's not like real life. We will 100% get a restart, but it's going to basically be everyone diving it into the pit lane, getting a set of softs. Gabriel Quintino getting what he needed, the safety car, and absolutely fantastic, fully transforming his race. He took the gamble. He's going to get his reward, and we see them all dive it into the pit lane, but not everyone. Buba and Kuba Tresniak continue on. This is going to be a fascinating restart with only 2 laps remaining in this race.
Oh, the double stack has sent Quintino barreling down to P11. It's up and down, up and down, up and down so far, but he is back up into P10. Larry Tulkino just jumped back out ahead, and there it is. Gabriel Quintino chose to go long with only 2 laps to go in this race after the safety car should come in. We should have 21 and 22 giving us some racing laps. This is what I mean. This is crazy. How has this happened?
A late change up in this race, and of course we had a virtual safety car that changed Australia earlier this season. However, that was earlier on in the race, so that mixed it up with the strategy. We've got a late safety car here, which basically resets it, allows Gabriel Quintino, who he would have been massively screwed had he not had that. He was guaranteed the back of the grid in terms of his race result. Now he finds himself at least in the battle for points. So at least he now can find himself battling with points. He does have a penalty next to his name, though, so that will be costly, and that will probably then cost him it anyway, unless it goes really wild at the end. So unless he can get that one removed, Gabriel Quintino, then he is going to find himself out of the points anyway. But really did help him with that safety car coming out there. And you've got 2 drivers continuing on. They're taking the risk, and what Buba and Kuba Tresniak are hoping for, that they battle so crazily for third that they're able to pull away. You've got 2 laps remaining in this race, and we're going to get 2 laps of racing around the longest lap of the calendar. This is just going to be a fascinating way to end round 3 here at Spa.
This is fascinating to say the least. It's a 2-lap shootout. There's the call. Safety car will go in at the end of this lap. So this is where Boban Tresiak has the strategy come to play. It's mediums versus softs. They've not been really needing to save the tyres. So maybe they were on out just a little bit too much to go against the fresh soft compounder tyre. It's bold. It's very, very bold. La Source, Eau Rouge, Radion, Lacombe. I think it's going to be done by Lacombe. The soft tyres will prevail. Diego Zozo maybe back on top. And there goes Boba. I think that's it as Boba pulled away. There it is, flat to the floor, and away we go. The restart is back underway. Lap 21, the penultimate lap, a 2-lap shootout to the end here in round 3 of season 38. And there goes Diego Zorzo, already looking to make the move, coming into La Source. He could get it on Cuba Tresiak, but will he get it on both? He's looking to get it on both, making it side by side in Eau Rouge and up towards Radion. It's done and dusted. Diego Zorzo back on top. Now Lewis Walker making the move on the Camel Straight. The soft tyres are prevailing side by side with Diego Zorzo. Will Lewis Walker be able to jump ahead into P1? No, he cannot as we get into La Coms. Diego Zorzo leading. Linus Donovan side by side with Tresiak, done and dusted. Now needs to get past Boba. I think that's a mistake there for those two drivers, the medium runners. That was not the call to make. Andre Molnar getting past Tresiak also. Certainly a bold strategy, but did not work in their favour. Those mediums do not have it. Linus Donovan is the next to get past Booba. Can he make it done? Can he stick it out? Tresiak dropping another position. Cuba is just dropping down the order. There goes Linus Donovan, straight around the outside. Andre Molnar follows through. Yeah, just dropping positions like a stone. Bold strategy call, but did not prevail.
Did not prevail indeed. Here we go though. In the battle between first and second place, Lewis Walker getting closer to the race lead, trying to go around the outside into Blanchimont. We're on the penultimate lap. We have 1 lap to decide who is going to win this race between these two drivers, and if they battle like crazy, it could still open the door for Donovan and for Andre Molnar. And we do have battles further back in the field, side by side. That's Buba trying to keep Tolki behind as well, and this is where it's going to get close. We're heading to a DRS opportunity for Lewis Walker, who will be going for the race lead. Fastest lap for Tom 97, but here we go, getting his foot down. Lewis Walker is going to try contend with Zorzo. Zorzo's going to need to try his best to defend this place on the final lap. The Mercedes slipstreaming all the way through Rouge and Radion, and now he's going to be drawing alongside, and he's going to be making this move. He's inching ahead, he's taking the lead, and we've also got a switch as Molnar and Donovan do battle for P3. Lewis Walker takes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix on the final lap of the race as Laminin just had a Simeone in the battle in the background. It's going all wild further back as Simeone is ahead. Quintino versus Biega, with Marta Biega moving up to P11.
Yeah, a lot of moves going down into this final lap. Lecom, certainly the place for everybody to make that last minute lunge, that last final attack. But we still have an entire Sector 2 and Sector 3 to go in this race as we come around Puyol now. Lewis Walker leading, but Diego Zorzo is mighty close enough to fight back. Andre Molnar onto the podium. Also Linus Donovan well within striking distance to take that back, as well as Reyes Imtiaz. Imtiaz is not going to be happy with this one. Came into the race wanting that victory, but he's down into P5. May not even score a podium this time out. Although he's been on the podium for round 1 and round 2. Round 3 will not be so. Diego Zorzo sending it through Blanchimont. Makes a late last lunge for the race victory there on Lewis Walker. And he's done and dusted into the bus stop chicane. Will they stay ahead? Yes, they will. Lewis Walker cannot respond. Andre Molnar was under attack by Linus Donovan, but does manage to keep it. Wow, what a finish there.
Absolutely
whoa!
fantastic finish there. PSGL Racing getting pretty wild as it was in the entire race, but especially when the soft compound of tyres were put on. And a brilliant performance from Lewis Walker. Might be a reserve. He's already scored points once this season. Now he's got a second place, losing it right at the end. That was some fantastic racing all the way to the flag as well. But Lewis Walker as a reserve, showing what he is capable of.
Absolutely, the reserve driver certainly getting themselves up into a very good position. Lost out in the end, could have had the race victory, but was passed ultimately by Diego Zorzo. Lewis Walker, I've got to say, came into this only on 1 point, and after a very good result, will now be on 13 points, jumping up the order in standings. Although being a reserve driver can certainly show you that full-time placements may come in the future. Certainly showing what you're made of to deserve a seat here. Andre Molnar, a driver I've seen a couple of times, shall I say, on the track, producing some very nice races. Finds himself closing off that podium position in P3. Linus Donovan P4, Reyes P5. Couldn't get the podium today, but there's still quite a lot of rounds to go. towards the end of the season. Drivers' Championship leader could potentially still pull out his race victory yet. It's only round 3. Larry Tulke in 6th, Thomas Lamont in 7th, Borba, Leonardo and Justin Ertz doing the final points finishing positions. Lovely race so far. Very, very interesting to see. But I shall now move us on. Oh no, I forgot to set up the interview room. So we're gonna have to go back to the cam screen for a second. If the drivers would like to get themselves down here for a quick chat.
It's always fun chatting to the drivers in the field on what they made of this race and their season ahead as well. And I'm happy to say we have got our race winner, Diego Zorzo, in the box, also joined by a fantastic performance by Lewis Walker, a reserve driver, showing what he's capable of on the circuit, Corey.
Yeah, absolutely. We have P1 and P2 here in the interview booth. So, Diego Zorzo, what a race. Certainly being a driver to watch. I had a couple of fans, though, watching you in the stream, people giving you support and wanting to give you the much love needed. And you won. You did your fans proud. People are very, very happy for you taking that top spot. Let's have your take on that. How are you feeling in qualifying?
I was confident in my pace. I knew I wasn't probably the fastest, but if I managed to put in a good lap, I could have be up there for the race, and I did so. I only completed one lap, but it was enough for P3. So yeah, decent qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a much needed qualifying to get you within a striking distance. And then in the race, fighting it out very, very hard with Reyes Imtiaz. Not only that, Lewis Walker getting themselves into the mix, fighting away with the Linus Donovan as well. Potentially feeling under threat there. He was very, very quick today. How was your race in that aspect? Some nice fighting going on, but ultimately you have prevailed, taking that top spot. Must feel good.
Yeah, it does. It was all very strategical. In the first stint, I just focused on saving tires, and then once they started to box behind, I boxed the next lap. It worked. I was all the race P1 or P2, so yeah, I just didn't use much battery in the camel straight in the last lap because I knew probably Lewis didn't have too much to defend in the last straight, and it paid off.
Yeah, absolutely lovely stuff, and it's a good result for yourself and put you in the striking distance of taking championship lead there. So, with the way it works, you will be the new driver standings leader. So, congratulations on that. And I shall pass you on to Ome if he's got any questions.
Well, fantastic performance tonight. Great to see you once again then after the victory last time out. Next time, of course, we head over to Canada. So what's your thoughts on that second? How do you think you will be getting on there?
Yeah, I haven't done much Canada this game, unfortunately, but I will try to get on pace quickly and hopefully deliver another good result.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Diego Zorzo, new
Thank you.
championship leader, Corey.
Absolutely, it will be with the way this finishes. I was only 1 point behind Reyes Imtiaz before we came into the Belgian Grand Prix. Reyes not only good enough for P5, P5 will get you 6 points over the 12 points, over the 16 points that Zorzo has collected today. So, jumps ahead, new leader of the driver's standings. It's a good place to be in round 3. So, congratulations on that, my friend.
Thank you so much.
P2, Lewis Walker, we can move on to you, my friend. Certainly, being a driver to watch tonight, bringing some very interesting battles, fighting up very, very hard for a race victory. It could have come in the end, but coming down Blanchimont, ultimately, Diego just had that better speed on the final lap and managed to get past you there. But qualifying, you wasn't that high up the field. You started P8 in qualifying. So, you want to give us a take on that? How was that for you?
Yeah, my qualifying, it was all right. I mean, I knew I didn't have the pace for pole, but I was on my final lap. I was about a tenth and a half up, but I bottled it in the bus stop, as probably many people did. But yeah, P8 I think was all right because I thought pole would have been a lot faster, but I guess a 0.7, I can't complain with it, I guess.
Well, it's nice to see you up here in P2. It's a good finish for yourself, a good result. Nice battles going on. Were you enjoying some of those in the race? Because, again, you finished P2, mate. It's a good place to be. Very good place to be.
Yeah, yeah. Every battle I would say was very clean. But however, I just do want to point out the fact that I did get damage due to desync. I don't know. I think the host left, and yeah, my game just decided to not work properly. So I did get a little bit of damage, but it was drivable. So I mean, yeah, I was happy with the result.
Yeah, we did see a slight incident with Marcel Biega, who had a bit of a disconnect issue, and it migrated the horse once again. That damage, though, may have been, what would you say, that cost you the victory here today?
No, no, I don't think. I mean, I'm happy to be on the podium. I didn't expect to be on the podium, but I didn't actually realize it was the last lap on the last lap, so I was using a lot more battery than what I would have done. But yeah, I mean, Diego deserved the win, so I'm happy for him.
Lovely stuff. Pass you on to Army for any questions, mate.
Don't have any myself. You covered it off brilliantly, but congratulations, and it's great to see a reserve driver doing so well. So keep putting in these performances when you get a chance here in PCF3.
Funny, funny enough, I'm actually at a main team right now. I've got
Oh,
I've
did
gone
you get
up to
promoted?
yeah, I got promoted to Mercedes.
Lovely. Fantastic. Well, there's a reason why you were promoted. Brilliant result, of course, in race one. So that will, of course, be updated in the standings for next round. But yeah, well deserved promotion. Great to see you fighting here every week. And well, looking ahead then to Canada, as you will be here then, unless you have any unless you are unable to make it. So, what's your thoughts on Canada as well, the next circuit here on the calendar?
Same as Orzo, I haven't done a lot of Canada this game. In fact, I don't think I've done a single league race, but I mean, I'll try. I can't practice too much for it, but I can always just look. And luckily, I got a good setup about an hour before today's race, so hopefully that ends up again the same. So yeah, yeah, just always hoping for at least top 10.
Brilliant stuff. And congratulations on P2.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Finally, we have P3 Andre Molnar, the driver who started off in pole position, was looking fastest for race victory, ended up with a bit of a lag spike, falling down in the race, but did manage to fight all the way back up and bring us some nice, entertaining battles and some super spicy overtakes early on before we got ourselves down to that final two-lap shootout after a very, very strange safety car procedure. But qualifying, pole position, let's hear about that, my friend. How was you feeling after that one? That's such a beautiful place to start, although P2 sometimes could be beneficial down into turn one. How was you feeling on that one?
Yeah, well, I think my lap wasn't really great. I was actually surprised that I was on pole position. But anyways, I take it. To be honest, I'm just really disappointed that I had that lag moment in the race because I think it was visible that my pace was really good in the races. I think I led the race for 5 laps without being overtaken, and then the lag came. So I think I lost the victory because of that, or at least the chance for victory. And then also later in the race, I picked up some damage, so I'm actually really happy to somehow still end up on the podium. However, I think there might be some reports after the race that will drop me down. But yeah, we'll see.
We saw some slight contacts early on. We saw some slight fights, some slight battles going on. He did bring us some nice, entertaining fighting, that's to say the least, though. When you get dropped down all the way down to P8 like something as stupid as lag, well, I sort of expect you sort of in a mindset, and you're just driving a little bit more aggressively. You're trying to make those positions back. You get a bit frustrated from the fact that the game's just really screwed you over in a way. But you handled it well, got yourself back on the podium. It's good points to get back up into the fight. You currently sit on 8 points, whereas you'll gain 10 here. 18 points, putting you up the standings. Only round 3, so good start to the season so far.
Yeah, just unlucky that I got taken out in the previous race. So yeah, I mean, my goal is to win the championship, so I will do everything I can in the next races. And yeah, we'll see what happens. But I mean, it's so hard to achieve consistent results
even in F3 because everyone is just so close and like you can lose the race and such small things. So yeah.
Yeah, we saw some very, very close racing, some very close action-packed racing. Like I say, everyone being so close, everyone who was in a DRS train for quite some time at the start. You had 2 trains at one point. After the pit stops, everybody caught back up, and then you had the safety car again, whacking everybody back within that DRS train. It was very, very close to say the least, and a lot of hard racing for even down to the bottom position, the points positions in P10, P9, drivers fighting away. Very, very close racing indeed. Congrats on P3 though. It's a good podium, and I shall pass you on to Omi for any questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, last season you were racing in F2. You got 25th in that championship, but you were also a pole sitter that season. So, what really went on last season in PCF2, and what have you learnt, of course, and bringing it to this tier now in PCF3 as you try go for the championship?
Well, I think my pace was completely fine in the last season. I just didn't take part in half of the races, and on the races where I did take part, I either got taken out, or had these lag moments. Like once I was P1 in Spain in the race, and then I dropped back to P20 because of a lag, and I just had a very unlucky season. So I think pace-wise I was alright, but I mean, I understand why I was demoted to F3, but now I will take this opportunity and try to win the championships.
Brilliant stuff. Try win the championship, and then of course get promoted back to F2. Brilliant approach,
Exactly.
and really wish you the best of luck for the remainder of this season.
Thank you.
That will do us, ladies and gentlemen. That is us done and dusted. But nevertheless, we shall take one quick little look at the calendar of what is to come. Like we mentioned, it is Canada. Then you get yourselves off to Qatar before you get yourself a nice little break off. Monaco, Britain, Netherlands, Saudi Arabia. Before we have a nice festive Christmas holiday. Everybody loves Christmas. I specifically love Christmas. My favourite holiday to ever exist. It doesn't matter about Easter, any of that nonsense. Christmas is the best. All the family gets together, you eat lots of food, eat lots of chocolate. It's the best time of the year. Japan, Vegas, and then finally finishing you off in Bahrain. It's been a pleasure to commentate for you this evening. You may not see me next week, but hopefully I'll be back in the future. And once again, thank you for Omi for joining me. It's been a pleasure to be commentating with yourself once again. We did the F2 last time round, but here in the F3, we've seen some nice racing, I've got to say.
We absolutely have indeed. As you mentioned, hopefully Sappy will be back from next week. But a brilliant fill-in as usual, Corey.
Lovely stuff. We shall see you all same place, same time next week. Stay tuned for that. Or something, I'm not sure.
Well,
It give
still
me a
on it.
new link. Oh no, what is it doing?
I was at the
Oh no,